What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and what the hell just happened? Just woke up. Okay, birthday was last night, so I'm a little, no, I'm not gonna say under the weather, but I've been better. And I look at my phone, and it says 20 minutes ago, the Bears are giving 2 first-round picks to the Raiders for star edge rusher Khalil Mack. That may not be the only players involved in the deal, but that is the core of the deal. Is the Raiders are getting those 2 first-round picks that they've been looking for. There's rumors that it was going to actually be the Green Bay Packers, and I think that's pretty good because the Packers already have Aaron Rodgers, and they don't need another superstar. And also, that's a lot of salary cap for the Packers to have into players. But when you look at the Chicago Bears, obviously, oh my God, obviously we already did 2 Bears rebuilds, and now this is almost warranted doing another one. I'll probably just actually do it in a stream or something like that. Mike, stream tonight. Who knows? Probably not. College football, all that good stuff. But maybe tomorrow, maybe my birthday stream will be a Bears rebuild now with Khalil Mack. I don't know. But my God. First of all, we'll talk about the Bears because the Raiders, we're going to need to, kind of sit them down in a corner and say, what are you doing? For the Bears, congratulations. Personally, as just a fan of the game and a fan of Khalil Mack, I kind of wanted to see him go to a 4-3 team because I think that he's better suited as a defensive end than he is an outside linebacker. He's versatile. He can play both at a very high level. I remember 2-3 years ago, the year he won Defensive Player of the Year, he got all-pro at both defensive end and linebacker, 2 positions. It was ridiculous, but I still think he's better just as an outright defensive end. But he's going to be going to the 3-4 defense there in Chicago, where he'll be playing outside. I assume it's going to be him and Leonard Floyd on opposing sides. My God. That's... For a fantasy football perspective, I still don't think the Bears defense is worth getting yet, but they are fringe. They are definitely a team that I would consider. And does that make looking at the NFC North, does getting Khalil Mack kind of, did the Bears have a legit shot? I've been saying since last year, since the Eagles beat the Bears last year, that the Bears were going to be my big turnaround team. Now, I couldn't outright say that they were going to make the playoffs because that division is a mother bitch. The Vikings are still a top-to-bottom better team. The Packers have Aaron Rodgers. The Lions are consistent. You got, obviously, Matt Stafford. Give that guy a deficit in the fourth quarter and watch him work. But I felt like, the Bears, they're clearly have been talked about as the bottom dwellers of the North for a little bit now. And I was like, well, this year, they probably could beat out the Lions. It's going to be a really competitive division. I think a lot of these teams are fairly similar in terms of talent. But it is a transition year. You're going Matt Nagy, new coach, and stuff like that. But I was like, yeah, maybe they could catch the Lions. But it was still going to be very, very tough. And unless something crazy happened in the NFC, they probably weren't going to be good enough to get that wild card spot. But now, you had a guy like Khalil Mack to the defensive side. If Trubisky can get it going, I think there's a legitimate shot that they could catch the Packers and try and get... they could catch anyone right now. I think Khalil Mack gives them a shot at winning the NFC North this year. I wouldn't put my money on it, even though I'm pulling for them. I look at that division. I used to like the Vikings because for the longest time when Philly was going through their dry spell, I was like, all right, well, I just don't want to be miserable during the playoffs, so I'll kind of pick a team that I'll support. I'll hitch my bandwagon to, and it was usually the Vikings in the NFC because I like the Vikings because I like Adrian Peterson. But now there's no AP. Now that I found out their fan base is the saltiest fan base of all time, and my doctor said I need to have less salt. The Bears. I like the Bears probably as much as any other team. I don't hate the Packers. I don't hate the Lions. My girlfriend's old team was the Lions until she finally came to the right decision that you gotta like the Eagles. But when I look at the other teams in the NFC, I think I like the Bears as much as... Let's see, what else we got there? No, don't give a shit about the Saints. Buck, no. Don't give it. Anyone in the West can suck it. So, I would say the Bears are probably my de facto team right now in the NFC. So that, and getting Khalil Mack's dope. I'm a big fan of Khalil Mack. So you have to talk about the inverse now. The Bears are getting Khalil Mack. He's going to play at outside linebacker. You throw him in there with that linebacking core: Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan, Leonard Floyd. They got Kyle Fuller, had a nice year last year. You got Akeem Hicks from Canada. At least he played in Canada. That's dope. But then you look at the Raiders. What are you doing? Pay the man. Khalil Mack's not one of these guys where he's a distraction like Odell, and then, you got to be a little bit hesitant about paying him, but eventually you still have to pay him because he's your stud. Or it's not like he's had injury history or anything like that. He's a bona fide all-star, and he's been healthy, and he's in his prime, and you give him away for 2 first-round picks, 2 picks that, judging from their draft last year, Colton Miller was a reach. I'm surprised John Gruden didn't have to go to physiotherapy for, trying to get his irons put back into sockets for that reach of Colton Miller. So if I'm a Raiders fan, I am livid right now because there's been, it's way too early. Colton Miller can end up being an all-pro. But from all reports from camp and everything like that, he looks like what everyone thought he was. He was a project tackle from UCLA, a great athlete with some upside. You know who else was a great athlete with some upside that got all the rave reviews? Jordan Mailata, who was a 7th-round pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. So if I'm a Raiders fan, I'm seeing this first draft for Oakland, I'm going like, I don't know if John Gruden can handle these picks. I don't know if Reggie McKenzie has the power to convince John Gruden to handle these picks correctly. Or you take the sure thing in Khalil Mack and you have your cornerstone of your defense. Khalil Mack and Derek Carr. You're making that move to Vegas. You need to have the core of that team built up. So, I understand that maybe they didn't want to pay Khalil Mack. Maybe actually John Gruden doesn't agree with old C4 on the YouTubes and thinks maybe Khalil Mack, now that they're going to a 4-3, won't be as valuable. And he wanted to get 2 first-round picks, maybe a player. If they do get a player, I hear that deal. I'm like, maybe Leonard Floyd's in that deal. That's how ridiculous that could be. But I feel like if that was actually the case, that the news would be out right now. But, man, I don't know. I still don't understand that move from just pay him. Well, the Raiders, you got long term. Penn's gonna retire, Donald Penn. So there's gonna be a lot of salary cap that you could convert over to Khalil Mack. You got Jared Cooks getting up there in age. He has a nice contract that once he goes out, that's more money that's gonna become available. I don't feel like they're right up against the cap for the foreseeable future that they can't afford it. They have Derek Carr was pretty much the only premier player that had a big contract. I don't know what Marshawn Lynch is on, but I just feel like this is the Raiders. I don't know, man. This is just John Gruden's way of welcoming himself back into the league. I don't understand this move. I'm a Raider fan. Pretty upset. At least you got the value that you wanted. It's not like we wanted 2 first and then we panicked and we just got a first and a player or something like that. So the value that they want, they got, which was clearly they're going to get that because I wouldn't even be surprised if the Eagles were in. I was kind of thinking at one point, Philadelphia has Brandon Graham upcoming on a contract. Obviously, if you trade Brandon Graham, that's going to kill the locker room and it would do more harm than good. But in a fantasy world, I'd be like, man, I'd call up John Gruden. Hey, you like Brandon Graham? He made that sack fumble in the Super Bowl. Maybe he could do it for you. I would give up 100% Brandon Graham and 2 first-round picks for Khalil Mack. I'll tell you that right now. He's 26. Wait, he just turned 27. That means you got 4 to 5 elite defensive player of the year caliber seasons where you look at someone like Brandon Graham who hasn't broke 10 sacks yet. Brandon Graham's really good, but he's 30 plus. Also has a cloudy contract situation. I don't know. It never happened, so I'm not even gonna dive in because obviously Philly had to find a way to make the salary cap work. But we're just talking about the Khalil Mack trade in general, man, and I just think it's unbelievable. And I think that when you look at the available teams that he's been linked to, you had the Jets. You had the Bills. I kind of hoped he was going to the Bills because, it could have been something good for the Huskies series that we could have talked about. But if I look at all the teams that he could have gone to, I think the Bears for me as a neutral of this deal because I'm not a big Raiders fan. I'm not a fan of the Raiders or I'm not a fan of the Bears. I think it's a better move. I'd much rather see him go to Chicago than say the Packers and make the Packers that super team because so many people right now are already considering Green Bay as a legit playoff contender with with Aaron Rodgers healthy. Now I just like the fact that maybe a new contender has emerged in the NFC. But I guess this also adds fuel to the fire that the AFC is such a cupcake goddamn conference, man. You have the Raiders have one of those teams that maybe the Raiders will be competitive and there'll be another one of those teams that could maybe challenge the Patriots. And they just go ahead and give their best player to the NFC. So that's just something else we have to deal with here in the NFC, which is just fantastic. So what do you guys think about this deal? I know that there's a couple Raider fans that watch my videos consistently. I know there's a bunch of Bear fans that watch my videos consistently. How hype are you? How depressed are you this Saturday morning? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section below, man. This is freaking ridiculous. What is this? What is this, man? But that'll do it for me here today, guys. Later in the afternoon, you guys are going to get the new rebuild of the Jets, so make sure you guys tune in and watch that. It was a good one. And that does it for me today, guys. So as always, thank you for watching. I'm not going to push this to 10 minutes to get that double ad revenue because I'm a man of the people. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'll see you in a little bit. Peace out.